Welcome to a lesson on computing power usage. A kilowatt is 1,000 watts. A kilowatt hour is a measure of energy use, which is the amount of energy used by a 1,000 watt device to run for an hour. Using the definition of a kilowatt hour, to calculate how long it would take to consume 1 kilowatt hour of power, we divide 1,000 by the watts use of a device. The watts use of a device is the number of watts a device uses per hour. Another useful formula is if we determine the total number of watts used and divide by 1,000, we get the number of kilowatt hours used. Let's take a look at an example and solve it two ways using the two formulas. A 48-inch plasma television uses about 200 watts, meaning it uses about 200 watts per hour. How many kilowatt hours are needed to run the television in a month if the television is on for an average of 2.5 hours a day? For the first method, let's focus on the second formula. So we'll determine the total number of watts used in a month, and then we'll divide by 1,000 to determine the number of kilowatt hours used. Because the television uses 200 watts per hour, it's on 2.5 hours a day for a month, and we assume a month is 30 days, the total number of watts is equal to 200 times 2.5 times 30, which is 15,000 watts. And now if we take 15,000 and divide by 1,000, we can determine how many kilowatt hours are used. Of course, 15,000 divided by 1,000 equals 15, giving us 15 kilowatt hours. The TV will use 15 kilowatt hours in a month. And now let's solve this problem again using the first formula. Focusing on the first formula, because the television uses 200 watts per hour, we can determine the hours to use 1 kilowatt by taking 1,000 and dividing by 200, which gives us 5 hours to use 1 kilowatt. For step 2, we now determine how many hours a television is on in a month, which is 2.5 times 30 hours, or 75 hours. So if it takes 5 hours to use 1 kilowatt, and the television is on for 75 hours, to determine the number of kilowatt hours, we divide 75 by 5, which of course also gives us 15 kilowatt hours. And now let's look at another example. A medium-sized Energy Star rated refrigerator uses 575 watts and runs for 8 hours per day. What is the monthly cost of running the refrigerator if the electric rate is 12 cents per kilowatt hour? Let's use the second formula by first determining the total number of watts the refrigerator will use in a month. We know it uses 575 watts per hour. It's on 8 hours a day for 30 days. The total watts is equal to 575 times 8 times 30, which is 138,000 watts. And now to determine the number of kilowatt hours, we divide by 1,000, which gives us 138 kilowatt hours. And now to find the total cost, we multiply 138 by 12 cents, or $0.12, which gives us $16.56. It would cost $16.56 to run the refrigerator for a month. Let's look at one more example. An electric oven is labeled as 4,000 watts. Again, this means it uses 4,000 watts or 4 kilowatts per hour. How much would it cost to bake a cake for 30 minutes if the electric rate is 14 cents per kilowatt hour? Let's answer this question two ways. First, let's determine the total number of watts used to bake the cake. Then we'll divide by 1,000 to determine the number of kilowatt hours, which we can then use to find the cost. To find the total watts used, we take the watts usage of 4,000 and multiply by the number of hours the oven is on. The oven is on for 30 minutes, which is half an hour. 4,000 times 0.5 or 1/2 equals 2,000, giving a total usage of 2,000 watts of power. And now we divide 2,000 by 1,000 to convert to kilowatt hours, which gives us 2 kilowatt hours. And now we can determine the cost. It costs 14 cents per kilowatt hour, and therefore the total cost is going to be 2 times $0.14, which is 28 cents. And now let's solve this problem again using the first formula by determining the hours to use 1 kilowatt hour. To do this, we divide 1,000 by the watts usage, which is 4,000. 1,000 divided by 4,000 gives us 1/4 of an hour, or 15 minutes to use 1 kilowatt. So if it takes 15 minutes to use 1 kilowatt and the oven is on for 30 minutes, to determine the number of kilowatt hours, we divide 30 by 15, which is equal to 2, giving us 2 kilowatt hours. And therefore, once again, the total cost is 2 times $0.14, or 28 cents. Whatever method we use, it would cost 28 cents to bake the cake. I hope you found this helpful.